So today's story time all takes place in the wonderful year of 2018. This was the very end of 2018. I had just moved back to New York. I got my own apartment, and most days I would just be chilling there by myself. And life was good. Life was peaceful. Life was chill. I was enjoying it. And you guys know, when things are going good for Mr. Luna, something has to come along and mess it all up. So one day I'm in my apartment, right? And I had this friend back then. I don't really hang out with him anymore, but he was a close friend back in the day. We'll just call him Casey, okay? Casey was someone that I knew from school. I actually wasn't very good friends with him in school. It wasn't until we both were out of school that we became good friends. Me and him met at a show, actually. Like the first month I moved back to New York, I met him at a concert. And we both kind of looked at each other and I was like, didn't we go to school together? And he's like, yeah, but like we never talked. And I was like, cool, man. Well, nice to meet you officially. And we ended up just like hitting it off, you know, like we both liked the same music, both had similar interests, and we ended up just kind of like becoming pretty close. Now, Casey was a serial stoner. That man was stoned 24 hours a day. Now, I'm not hating, okay? Like, that's what calmed him down. That's what made him relaxed. I'm not going to hate on that, all right? It wasn't really a problem. But it sometimes was a problem if we wanted to do anything that involved not being able to smoke weed. Like, say we were at, like, a concert and he couldn't bring it in, or say we were, like, I don't know, somewhere in public and he couldn't smoke. He'd get, like, really, really irritable and, like, really, really sensitive about it, right? And it kind of got in the way sometimes. Well, around this time in 2018, I was getting kind of sick of my apartment. It's kind of funny because I just moved in there, but I don't know, like I was just in a bad mood and I kind of wanted to like get out of the house for a little bit and get some different surroundings. So I decided to rent a lake house that was like 30 miles away, not very far at all, but it was on the lake where I lived and it was like very beautiful. It had like a private beach and I wanted to rent that. So I rented it for like 2 days and I invited all my friends. Casey was one of them. And I was like, yeah, guys, come crash at this crib. Like, I'm going to have it for a couple days. Come sleep there. Come hang out. Come enjoy. We'll, like, barbecue and shit. It'll be awesome, right? And it was awesome. The first night we got there, it was some of the most, like, amazing, like, just greatest time ever, man. I had so much fun. Like, it was one of the best memories ever with my friends, right? Well, day 2, a.k.a. the last day, wasn't the best memory. So, Casey ran out of weed on the first night of being there. And on day 2... he started getting kind of irritable, getting kind of like, you know, antsy, and he couldn't live without it. So he was like, yo, can I call up this plug and like have him bring some? And I was like, yeah, I don't care, man. As long as he's trustworthy and you can trust him with the address, like go for it. And he's like, well, I've actually never met this dude before. He's a new plug, but I met him through a friend of mine that I really, really trust. So like, yeah, I trust him. And I was like, well, what's wrong with your old plug? Why aren't you just using him? He's like, yeah, he doesn't have any right now. I'm like, all right, man, well, if you trust this new guy, like, I'll trust you, but you got to trust him. He's like, I do, man, I do. So I didn't question it. I should have questioned it. I should have been like, nah, man, fuck that. Like, go pick it up or something to let him come to the house, but I didn't question it. Anyway, later that night, this plug pulls up. He drops off the weed. I didn't see the guy. I didn't meet him. I didn't really think much about it because he was in and out very quick. So after this, Casey was back to being a happy camper. He just went back to, you know, smoking, enjoying his day, night, whatever, like chilling, right? Now, yeah, the majority of the rest of that day and night was great. Now at about 2:30 in the morning, when everything's winding down, everyone's getting tired, I'm about to fall asleep. This is where the story time really kicks off, okay? So like I said, it's 2:30 a.m. I'm tired. Everyone's tired. I'm exhausted. And I'm just like laying down. I'm falling asleep. I'm nodding off. And the way that my room was set up in this house was I was on the first floor and there was a big sliding glass door in my bedroom that went out to like the private beach in the backyard area where the lake was. And out of the corner of my eye, like while I'm about to drift off and fall asleep, I see something move by the sliding glass door. And I like snap my head over to the right and I look and I see this figure walking through my backyard. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's one of my friends. Maybe they're out there smoking or something. So I get up and I walk up to the door and I go to open it and see who it is. And when I get closer to the door and I'm able to like actually see this person a lot better, I realize it's not one of my friends. This guy is older. He's probably like in his 40s or 30s. I don't know. But he didn't look my age or my friend's age. And he just looked very, very like paranoid. I don't know how to explain it. He looked almost like strung out. And I'm looking at him through the sliding glass door and he doesn't see me. Now, I quickly close the curtains and I make sure my door is locked and then I run out in the living room and I was like, guys, there's a person in our backyard. And they're all like, what? All my friends. And Casey stands up, and Casey walks over to one of the windows, and he looks. And he's like, dude, that's that fucking plug from earlier. And I was like, your plug is creeping around my backyard right now? Is that what I'm hearing? And he's like, yeah, bro, like, call the cops or some shit. So I had to jump on the phone with the fucking cops and, like, get them over there. And the whole time we're waiting, we're, like, peeking out the windows and stuff, and this guy's just, like, roaming around the backyard. At one point, he was, like, roaming around the sides of the house. And from what it looked like he was kind of, like, casing the house. You know what I mean? It kind of looked like he was scoping it out, seeing if he could find an entryway and, like, come back and rob the place. That's kind of what it seemed like, right? Now, of course, by the time the cops got there, which was about 10 minutes, the dude was gone. He went out to the front, jumped in his car, and drove off. And unfortunately for us, the way he was parked, we couldn't get his plate. And my friend, Casey, didn't remember his plate from when he got the weed earlier. So we didn't have anything on this guy, which, like, didn't make it any easier for the cops. And when the cops pulled up, we, like, told them what happened. And, of course, they said what, I expected them to say. They were like, oh, we'll keep an eye out. We'll keep someone in the area looking around based on the description you gave us. We'll also look for his vehicle, because that was one thing we were able to give them. We remembered which car he drove. He drove a very, very beat-up old Honda Civic. So, yeah, they were on the lookout for that. Now, the rest of that night, after the cops left, everybody was on edge. No one wanted to go back to sleep. We were all paranoid as shit. But luckily, the dude didn't come back. Now, I wish I could say that's the end of the story, and we just never saw him again, and everything was fine. And, well, we didn't see him again. I'll say that. We never saw this guy again. But unfortunately, a week after we were out of that house, so, like, literally at this point, I'd been back at my apartment for a week, I get a text from the Airbnb owner, the guy that rented me the house, and he tells me that someone came through and robbed the place. And he thinks it's that guy that we called the cops about. Because I told the host about it. I told him after everything went down. Now I'm, like, sitting there like, holy shit, this dude, like, came back and robbed the place. Like, our assumptions were correct. He was literally casing the house to come back later and rob it. And he did. He came back later and he robbed it. And I remember, like, I told the Airbnb owner, I was like, yo, like, keep me posted. Let me know if the cops find him. Like, if there's anything we can do to help, like, me and my friends will help you. And about a week later, I get a call from the Airbnb host. They found the dude. And they locked his ass up. And my Airbnb host sent the name of the guy to me on text. And I texted that name to my friend Casey. And I was like, yo, is this the guy that you bought weed from that night? Like, is this the dude? And he's like, yeah, man, that's his name. So this motherfucker pulled up to our crib that, like, I was renting for a couple days. And then cased it out. Came back a week later when no one was there and robbed the shit. I'm just happy nobody was at the house when it happened. The guy robbed the house when nobody was renting it. So, like, it was just vacant. But yeah, they caught the dude because he's an idiot. And he pulled up in a U-Haul. So they were able to just, like, look at the U-Haul rentals in the area and, like, find the U-Haul and just find all the shit in there and then get it back. And then he got arrested. So yeah, dude went to jail. He did it alone, by the way, which is, like, crazy to me. Robbing a whole house by yourself, not the smartest idea. But yeah, they caught him. The cops caught him. Apparently he was, like, a repeat offender. I think he did something else previously. So robbing a house after already having a criminal record isn't good. You go to jail for a long time if you do that. So he got locked away for quite a while, and everybody was okay in the end. Me and my friends were fine. The Airbnb host got his stuff back and the house was okay. Nothing was damaged or broken. Casey felt really bad because, I was literally like, yo, you got to trust this guy if he's going to come to the house. And then the guy literally robbed the house. So yeah, he felt pretty bad. He apologized to me and the Airbnb host a lot. And yeah, man, in the end, we forgave him because, people make mistakes. But I told him, I was like, dude, like, I get that you like smoking, but if it's so addicting to you that, like, you have to call up people that you don't even trust to get it, like, come on, bro. Like, don't do that. It's a lot better to get it from someone that isn't going to put your friends and, the house you're staying at risk. And he was like, yeah, man, you're right. I know. And he actually took my advice. He stopped buying from just anyone and anybody, and he only bought from one dude, and if that guy didn't have any, he would just wait. Now, unfortunately, me and Casey ended up falling out and stopped being friends for a different reason, not too long after this, but that's another story for another time. Maybe I'll tell that tomorrow if you guys want to hear it. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
Take his 401k and I'll put it on my wrist. Only wanna sell my fit. Still I pop these pills and fuck my life up. Yeah, I'll take a sip. Yeah, I still fall for those